Hello, dear soul, and welcome to the Lightbearer's Library. In today's journal entry, I wanted to talk about care and connect the idea of care with psychic energy. And you can call it whatever you want. Psychic energy, our soul force, our attention, we can feel that when we direct our care or love or attention to something and someone, there's some kind of energy being given, directed out of ourselves. And so I think that we should, become conscious and aware of the things that we're placing our attention on, the things that we're sending our care out into the world to do, the people that we're loving, because all of that energy is leaving us. And, I think it can sometimes leave us feeling really drained. And more than ever, there are so many avenues and things and people and places presented to us to care about, right? And I think, thinking back to my childhood, there were sort of, limited avenues of information coming in. I mean, still at that time, I guess there was a lot, there's the radio and the TV and, the news bulletins of whatever things you were a part of. But now it's kind of like an endless stream of stuff coming in saying, care about me, care about me. And I think that we should be conscious and aware of what it is that we're giving our care to. And I guess this in my mind is connected to what is it our responsibility to care about. And if we're tenderhearted and we want to make the world a better place, I think about myself in my late teens, early 20s. Like, I really wanted to care about everything and wanted to make the world a better place by like going and doing things. So when I was in university, I went to Botswana, which is just north of South Africa. And I was there with a group of other university students, and we were doing some education on HIV/AIDS and stuff around that. And I had this like moment of going, why am I here trying to do this? It's like, I don't know their culture. I don't know the languages. They spoke English, but there were other tribal languages. I was like, why am I here trying to help? Like, this is silly. I should be back home where I know the language and the culture and the people, and there's people there that need help as well. And so that was kind of a bit of a revelation to me. And it's like, well, actually, where do I have the most power to change things or care? Was like my own backyard, my own family. And the same thing happened when a few years later I went down to Peru to teach English to some little kids. It was, a volunteer program that I was a part of. And I was just like, again, why? Like, that time I was more aware of it. So I went as sort of more of my own experience, not to change the world. Like, I had to kind of moved a little bit away from that, but realizing again that the where I was most needed, my care was most needed, was where I knew the language and the culture and the people. And so I think I realized that I needed to narrow my focus of care and my sphere of care to those, within my immediate sphere. And you could think of this as like our hunter-gatherer ancestors, even today now, it's like, we're not meant to care about everyone and all the topics in the world and all the things going on. Like, no human can possibly contain or can possibly have that amount of energy to care about everything. And I think that, social media especially asks us to care about, all the wars or the government stuff or all the bad things that are happening in the world, all the it's too much. It's too much. We are not meant to be able to care about all of those things. And I think, a lot of things, I'm like, we shouldn't even like discussing things or caring about things or having conversations with people about things that we know nothing about, right? Like, we don't live in these other countries that are halfway around the world. We don't know any people that live there. We don't, like, how could we possibly be informed about what's happening? And I think when we bring our circle in, we can be much more effective and feel much more valued and connected to the people around us. So, and I'm speaking about this for myself. Like I don't listen to the news, and because I've realized that there's not, like, I can't do anything to change all of these things anywhere, whatever, but I can do small little things within my own sphere of influence to help people who want my help, is the other thing. I think lots of people, we extend our care and our love to people who don't actually want our care and love, and I think that can drain us. So I've been thinking about, so I don't watch the news and I'm not on social media. So there's not a lot of things in my daily life that demand my care and attention go outwards. But I do notice there's other things like, reading novels. It's a whole story of caring about characters. And while I think that's wonderful, it's, it can distract my energy that goes out to that story and building that world in my imagination. And I don't necessarily think that's good or bad, but it's recognizing that energy and that psychic energy is going towards that story that's outside of myself, and that it's potentially draining my energy. So I've just been thinking about, because I know in my own life, there's just been so many issues that I feel called to care about, whether it was, all sorts of different issues. And I think most of them are way too big. So I need to bring it back to our own backyards, and making our own backyards a better place for ourselves, for, our whoever's living in our household, those our neighbors around us, and our local community. I think if we focused our energy, we'd be much more effective in caring and loving people, looking at the issues in our own communities and pitching in and making it better, whether it's picking up garbage as you're walking along, your street or whatever, or, whatever it might be. Let's start focusing our attention on our local communities to make it a more loving place to be, volunteering our energy and attention and care to our own community. I think we'd feel much more valued and much more energized, because our care and attention would be utilized towards things that we can actually see changing, because we have no control over most of everything that we kind of send our care out into the world to care about. whatever's happening out there. Anyway, those are my thoughts about that topic. Let me know if you can sense this energy that goes out when you pay attention to or care about issues in the news or on social media, or about people that you have never met and will never meet, and think about some ways that you can care more about those people or places that are in your immediate sort of surrounding. And I'd love you to subscribe and join the Lightbearers Library. I talk about all sorts of things about being a human, really. And I'd love you to be here with me. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I wish you many, many blessings. Signing off for now. XOXO, Kate.